2, 2. Check 1, 2. Can everybody hear me? Everybody? Anybody? Nice. Good evening. Welcome to Tiki Bar here in Sebastian. I am Brian, DJ Big B. Welcome. Welcome to the Sebastian Daily Council Candidates Forum. I will be conducting this forum. That's scary right there. If you have a question that you'd like to ask on round 4, this table right over here, write out your question if you like. Make sure if you do write a question, it would be going to all the candidates. It's not specific because we're going to draw them at random. So make sure you do that. Please be respectful to the candidates. This is kind of a night to get to know them. We're not debating. If you have any comments, please keep them nicely to yourself. If you don't, I'll throw you in the river. So here's how it's going to go. Round 1 is going to be opening statements, 2 minutes each. Round 2, all candidates will get the 4 same questions, 2 minutes each. All right, and then we're going to take a 5-minute break, 5 to 10 minutes. Round 3, these have been chosen earlier by everyone living in Sebastian. They're going to be, 8 questions. They're going to be random. 1 minute each to answer those. Round 4, if you guys do write out a question, that's going to be round 4. If you have questions, we'll ask them. If not, we'll just skip on to round 5, which is closing statements, 2 minutes. Capiche? Ready? All right. All right. All right, round 1 is opening statements. Bill Simmons.
Okay, can you hear me? My name is Bill Simmons. I'm running for City Council.
Bill, closer.
Can you?
Closer.
Closer?
Thank you.
All right. Okay, and I'm not used to this. At any rate, I was born in Kentucky in 1941, so I've been around the gamut quite a bit. I graduated from college, got my CPA, worked for a CPA firm, Coopers and Lybrand, for 3 or 4 years. Gotcha. And wound up working for a company named MCOR Group out of Connecticut from 1973 until, can you hear me now? From 73 until 2004. I moved to Sebastian in 2000, retired in 2007. In 2002 to 4, I was appointed to the Code Enforcement Board. In 2004, I was appointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I was there until 2011, and I was back on the commission in 2017 until now. I volunteered to Sebastian Police Department since 2007, and I'm still a volunteer there. I think some of the main issues that we have to face have gone over before, but it has to do with drainage and stormwater, and I think some other infrastructure, as we need to address some of the sidewalks,
10 seconds.
streets, and any rate, 2 minutes flies by pretty quickly.
Okay, let me introduce to you Diana Bolton.
Hello, can everybody hear me? Can you hear me back there? Hello? Yeah, you can. Good? Okay. I'm Diana Bolton. I'm a candidate for Sebastian City Council. Can you tell me, raise hands if you haven't voted, if you're a Sebastian voter and have not voted yet. Okay, thanks. All right. I grew up here. I'm a native girl. I attended Sebastian Elementary and Vero Beach High School. And I grew up here. I left when I was about 17. But before I left, I used to work with troubled youth here. And I spent a lot of time on this river, clamming. riding horses, not on the river, but camping out on the islands and enjoying the citrus and the lifestyle here. So I moved away. I was fortunate enough to get a pretty good education, lived in 3 different countries, worked for the military in Bremerhaven, Germany. I have degrees, and I have a few degrees in business administration, business management, military science, and environmental marine science. So that's my background. I've worked in coral reef restoration, seagrass, data collection, and working with NOAA, and I've also worked as a research diver, a rescue diver, and I'm a 100-ton master captain with the U.S. Coast Guard, and I'm a merchant marine, certified merchant marine, 100-ton master captain. Prior to becoming a captain, I was a mortgage banker for 25 years. I was CEO of a mortgage corporation that had 3 different branches in 2 counties.
10 seconds.
So that's my background. And I've been asked to run by several people. It wasn't my idea, but they said, we really want you to be part of this. Thank you.
Hello. Okay, my name is Ed Dodd, and I'm running for Sebastian City Council, and it sounds kind of strange to me because earlier this year I was thinking very seriously about running away from the Sebastian City Council. And on a date in mid-April, I think it was the 24th, I know when the date was for the meeting was the 22nd, but on the 24th I kind of had one of those epiphany things that people have every once in a while, because it became apparent to me and 2 of our charter officers that we were going to have to sue 3 elected officials to stop them from perpetrating a coup against the city. And it dawned on me at that point in time that I really couldn't run away from it, that I was going to have to stay, and I was going to have to try to follow through with the stuff that I started with in 2016. My goals in 2016 really haven't changed a whole lot. It's the stormwater system, the walls and the canals, planning process. I'm extremely excited about the Sustainable Sebastian program that we were able to start through the prior city council in 2018. Natural Resources Board got killed with COVID when it comes to announcing that, but I'm really excited that we'll be able to do that this coming year and try to do that. So I'm running to try to fulfill in my mind the things that I was trying to do in 2016 and try to do the things that we didn't get done this year for obvious reasons, and we need to move the city forward and do those things. So thank you.
All right, Jim Hill.
Jim Hill. See, that's really odd. How you guys doing? I'm Jim Hill. It's nice to see you all out here. Thank you so much for coming out. I want to thank the Tiki Bar. It's a really nice place. I've never really been in here. You know, it's been, I don't know, some of you know that I've actually been in here a couple of times, but it's a really fantastic place. I want to thank the owners of the Tiki for having us. Thank you very much. We appreciate you very much. Also want to thank Andy Hodges from Sebastian Daily for putting this event on. You know, Sebastian Daily is pretty much the only source for actual news in the city of Sebastian. So I thank you very much for what you're doing there, Andy. I would be remiss if I also didn't thank my wife, Amy. Now Amy's had to deal with a lot in my life, and she's always stood there beside me. She's always been a rock. She's been a pillar. She's been someone that I could lean on at all times. And the last year has been very, very, very difficult. And she stood up and she supported me and she supports my campaign. So I appreciate you very much. I love you. Thank you. So I'm running for city council again. I've been doing this for a long time. Some of you know me, some of you don't. But I first got started in 1999, and then I got elected in 2000. I don't want to dwell too much on all of that stuff because you can go to votejimhill.com. You can do that right now on your phones. It's a pretty cool site. VoteJimHill.com if you want to check out any of the information about me. But I'm running again because I love Sebastian. It's a place that I love and adore so much. I have 6 daughters, 2 of which are growing up. They're 10-year-old twins right now, and I've got one who's getting ready to go to college this spring. You know, my oldest daughter today, and now this deserves a round of applause, if nothing else. My oldest daughter today gave me my first grandson at 1:30 p.m. Right? So Alexander Christopher was born at 1:30 today, and I am just full of happiness. So If nothing else, I'm a happy guy and I appreciate everything. VoteJimHill.com, check it out. I love the city of Sebastian. I've always loved the city of Sebastian. That's the only reason I run and do what I do, because I always want Sebastian to be the best Sebastian can be. Thank you.
All right, there are your candidates.
Excellent, excellent.
All right, first question. If you need me to repeat the question at any time, just ask. Oh, Diana, okay.
Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
And the question, and this is the same question to all the candidates. Diana, what are your qualifications to be on the council?
I love this town. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Hello, hello. Okay. The question is, what are our qualifications to be on this council? Number one, I love this town. I have its best interest at heart. Not the town itself, but the people. And most of us are here because of our lifestyle, because of the heritage, and because of the nature, and because of the environment. We think it's a healthy place to live. My family, my grandmother's buried in the Sebastian Cemetery. She died at 97. My other grandmother passed away this week at 105. Both of them were totally in control of their faculties. They were very, very sharp women. So we live a long time, which means I'll be here for the next 40 years. So I have a vested interest in protecting what we have. I have a lot of cousins here, a lot of family. My great-grandfather by marriage founded Pelican Island, the Cragles. My mom and dad are Shirley and Wayne Cragle. I'm very heavily invested in the environment. I want to keep everybody healthy. If my neighbors are healthy, and my friends are healthy, and my family's healthy, we all keep each other healthy, then we're going to live a long time and be happy. So I do a lot of service work. I've been public speaking here since I moved back about the Sebastian City Council, standing up and talking on environmental issues. And also we have other issues as well. I've been meeting with the fishermen, the clammers. I've been meeting with the neighbors, meeting people on the river road here on my morning walks, and asking them what's important to them. I keep in tune with the public, and the big issues are stormwater, of course, the environment, and they want to not be taxed out of being able to live here. So we want to spend our money wisely. We want a transparent government, and we want to be happy and live at peace. We want to be, this is a friendly place, and that's how we intend to keep it. Thank you.
Okay. Is it on? Yeah. All right, qualifications. I've been on the council for 4 years. I know that may not qualify me for a whole lot in the minds of some people. But prior to that 4 years on the council, I spent 14 years basically doing an apprenticeship, going through the committees. I was on the code enforcement board with Bill. At one point in time, I was on a charter review committee. I spent 10 years on the Plain Zoning Commission. 4 of those years was a chair of the Plain Zoning Commission. My knowledge of the city itself, the codes, the requirements, the procedures, is really good. So I think I can apply that knowledge to the decisions that we need to make as we move forward. I'm a retired executive in the health insurance industry. I've been retired since '99, and I enjoy Sebastian. My wife and I moved here in a weekend. We came here and visited my brother and went home and sold our house and moved. So when we got to Sebastian the first time, we realized if we wanted to be in Florida, this was the place to be. And so I thoroughly enjoy it. I love the city, I love the people, and I will represent you as best that I can, and I'll make the decisions that I think are the best for the city. Thank you.
Jim Hill again, just in case you forgot. So the single most important qualification anyone could possibly have to sit on a city council is that they love Sebastian and desire to do the best thing they possibly can. That's the most important thing, and I have that, and I've had that for decades. And that's why I ran back in 1999, and that's why I ran in 2000 and got elected, and that's why I re-ran in 2008, because I love this community. I've got children growing up in this community and grandchildren, and I love this place. Sebastian, to me, is home. And I want to make sure that, again, Sebastian can be the best Sebastian it is. Now, if you look around here, this beautiful Tiki, you'll start seeing some of the work that I've done in the city of Sebastian, because 8 years ago in 2000, I'm sorry, geez, more than 16 years ago, I think. What was it, 2008? When in 2008, when I got elected, this place wasn't the same as it is right now. The riverfront wasn't even close to what it is right now. This place has grown up so much since 2008. I think there used to be a swimming pool right here. And yeah, right here. And it was kind of a dive, right? If I'm not mistaken, this place was kind of a dive bar. And there were a lot of places going downhill along our riverfront. Not anymore. Not anymore. This place has grown, and it's a wonderful place. And so one of the things I always like to talk with people is they always say to me they love the city of Sebastian. It's such a great place to live. So my greatest qualification is the city of Sebastian. Because if you love this community, this is my work. This is the things I have been doing for the last 2 decades. And I'm so proud of the work that I've done over the last 2 decades. And this city today is better than it was in 1999 when I actually moved here, because it's had quality leadership at the helm. So my number one qualification is that I love this community and I want it to be great.
Perfect. All right. Bill.
No? All right. Gotcha. I moved here in 2000. I knew I wanted to be on the Treasure Coast. The job I had at that point in time was with the same company, MCOR, out of Connecticut. And I was involved in some other acquisitions. And one of the acquisitions we made, we met here at Grand Harbor. At any rate, after analyzing the Treasure Coast, I decided Sebastian was a place for me. At this point in time, I'm fully vested here after 20 years. I like to be a part of the city. I like the volunteer work that I do. I've really enjoyed being on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and there's a lot of good people here. I look forward to representing each and every one of you. And if I get elected, the door will always be open and the phone will always be answered. I don't have quite the history that these guys do, but you got to start somewhere, and I think that's where I am now. So thank you very much.
All right, that was round one. Good job, good job. Way to go, DJ. All right, round two. First one is Diana.
They messed you up. It's their fault. Diana, it's their fault.
It doesn't matter, but...
Of course it does.
All right. Question is, what is your position on annexing additional property into the city of Sebastian?
Okay, get ready. I'm pro-annexation. I believe that the city needs to grow, and I think that the city needs, in order to fulfill what the city really needs, we need to grow to the south. So the land that's adjacent to 510 south of the city of Sebastian really belongs in this city. It'll give us an opportunity to develop some commercial property. It'll give us an opportunity to do mixed-use developments that include workforce housing, which we severely need here. It's really interesting when you see the number of people who work here but can't live here. And we have a dramatic need for workforce housing in Sebastian. So I am definitely pro-annexation. I'm not overly interested in getting into a major fight with the county or with anybody else. So I do think that we need to begin the conversations now that are required for us to try to pave the way for the annexations. But if we can't work it out, then I think we're just going to have to move forward on our own. But I am definitely pro-annexation.
Okay. Next up, Jim.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the question. Now, it's a very important question because the question isn't just, are you pro-annexation? It's, are you pro the city of Sebastian controlling the type of growth and development that happens in and around our area? I guarantee Vero Beach wishes many decades ago that they had annexed the properties around it that the county has developed, because the city of Vero Beach is very small, but the population surrounding it is much greater than the city of Vero Beach itself. So had the city of Vero Beach had the foresight at that time to annex the property, they wouldn't be in the situation they are. And the situation they're in right now is they have Indian River County allowing developments that go on all around that city, all the way out Oslo. And if you go down to Vero Beach, just drive out west and see what the county's allowing to happen to that city. It's terrible. It's a travesty. And I'll tell you another thing. If you look at the development that's happening just outside our borders, there's a new home that's on US 1. I don't know if you've even noticed. It's 3 stories. It's an assisted living facility. If you look at that, it's a monstrosity and it's ugly. That's developed in the county. If you want to see what you can do in the city of Sebastian, you go just to the north of Walmart and you'll see what you can do in the city of Sebastian in an assisted living facility. It's done beautifully. It's done respectfully. That's what we need to do. We need to control the type of growth and development that happens around us. Fellsmere's tremendous in size. And there's a new development that's happening 10 miles north of us that's going to have hundreds of thousands of people in it within the next decade. We need to make sure that we protect ourselves, protect our parks, protect our roads, protect our boat ramps, protect everything that we have as a city, and that we control the type of development that takes place around that. I am in favor of annexing because I am in favor of protecting the city and letting the citizens decide, the citizens of Sebastian decide how it's developed.
Bill Simmons.
When the question of annexation came up in August of last year, unfortunately, well, I was in North Carolina for a month and was not at the planning and zoning meeting, which is where it first came through, was the planning and zoning. I did go back later, a couple of months later, and looked at that meeting. At that point in time, had I been at the planning and zoning meeting, the vote would have been 4-3, not in favor of the annexation. Since that time, I have looked back, and what I've learned now that I didn't know then, I probably would have voted for that annexation. And actually, the planning and zoning would have made the recommendation to council to proceed. Of course, they did anyhow, for that matter. But at this point in time, I do believe that is a route to go, and I agree with Ed. We do have to come to an agreement with the city, with the county, or the county of Indian River, in order to make it fly. Otherwise, we'll go through the same thing we did last year. Thank you.
Diana Bull. Hold on. Yep.
Testing. All right, hi. The question is, are you for or against annexation? That's a loaded question. It depends. It depends on if the people are involved in the input, if it makes sense, if the numbers make sense. Being a mortgage banker, I've loaned out millions of dollars and financed a lot of development, and I've been a part of that. I've taken a small fishing village, and it grew a lot in 20 years. I've seen that. I come from the future. You may or may not want to do it depending on how it's done. First of all, what happened here was the public got really angry because they weren't part of the process. They didn't feel like they had, their voices weren't being heard. Annexation for a purpose, yes. Annexation to annex agricultural land, no. We have to do our comprehensive land use plan first. We have to dot our I's, cross our T's, and we have to make sure it's for the benefit of us. We're the taxpayer. We want to make sure it's for our benefit. Most annexations, if they're done where the land is just agricultural, or if a town is using annexation in order to finance existing projects, first of all, we have to take care of what we've got. And the big complaint we have here is the roads are crumbling. Roads are not being paved. Some of them haven't been paved forever. Our stormwater system needs taken care of. We have a lot of problems right here. And I was brought up that if you don't take care of what you have, you don't get any more. So if we annex property, it's not going to help us income-wise. Show me the numbers. If it does, it makes sense, absolutely. But if it doesn't make sense, and if the people don't want it, then no. So it's not a yes or no question or an answer. It depends on the situation, and it depends on if it's for our benefit or not. And that's up to the people of Sebastian, not up to a bunch of people just saying, yeah, we want to do it. Show me the numbers, show our people the numbers, show us how it benefits us, and how doubling our population is going to be to our benefit. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. 5-minute break. Okay, all right. Be back in 5 minutes. Right on, guys. Yeah, yeah. Yo. Yep, drink, yep. Correct. Round two, then break. Oh, my apologies. I thought this was rounds. No, I know. I saw it. No, keep going.
I don't know what mic you gave Phil, but I couldn't hear him.
He can't talk. That's why.
Well, you
I'm,
need it-
I'm cranking it. If I crank it any louder, it's going to distort. He needs to put the mic closer to his mouth. Okay. There has to be, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to draw a in the new annexation, we would allow building heights up to 35 feet, county to allow 45. We would Let me know when you're ready, I'll call him up. Let me know when All right, can I have the candidates back up, please? First up.
You can tell Andy's never wasted it.
Get it. Diana, let's go. All right, all right.
Because I just came back from Boston 2 weeks ago. I did that before and after. I'm good.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if we could have your attention, we're going to start the rounds of questioning again. Again, tonight we have Bill Simmons, Diana Bolton, Ed Dodd, and Jim Hill. Okay. Next question for the candidates. First one going to Jim Hill. Aside from the issues of annexation and canal drainage management, what do you see as your top issue facing the city?
Now, thank you for that question. And I will tell you, this is probably not going to go over well. I think this is the first water I've ever actually had in the Tiki. But it was good. It's pretty good water. Thank you. There are a lot of issues that we face in the city of Sebastian, and the annexation and drainage are major points. But if you go to my website at votejimhill.com, you'll see that I have pages of issues that I think are very important. maintaining the history, heritage, and quality of life we have here in Sebastian. Part of Sebastian and the specialness of Sebastian is this riverfront and the fishing village vibe that we have, right? So we need to maintain that, and part of what we've done over the years is to try to actually grow that field, keeping the history and heritage of Sebastian through the Working Waterfront program. When we made the purchase of the Working Waterfront program, we changed our laws in order to allow much of what's happening in Sebastian right now to allow a parking and loop program that let the mulligans come into place and to let many other businesses thrive. So maintaining our history, heritage, and quality of life are incredibly important to me. Economic development is incredibly important. Our airport is an amazing place for economic development. We've been developing the east side with some hangars, and we've got manufacturing and other great things going on the east side. And now we're going to be having water and utilities going to our west side of our airport. So that's going to drive the value of the west side of our airport so we can get better high-paying jobs out there. Again, go to boatjimhill.com. Check out all of the issues that I have on that page. But maintaining our history, heritage, quality of life, economic development, of course, growth, the environment, all of those things are incredibly important. So check me out on boatjimhill.com. Thank you.
All right, Bill Simmons.
Can you hear me? All right. I got to cover this thing. Works on one side. I think Jim pretty much covered all of the necessary things, but at any rate, I still think infrastructure is one of the main problems we have, which involves the drainage, the stormwater, the lack of sidewalks that we have. Some of this, I think, is relatively easy to fix. You know, I've looked at some of the stormwater, and we have a lake on Lake Street and Easy Street that's been there for many years back when general development started this place. At one time, I understand it was a swimming pool with bathrooms and etc. At this point in time, it takes up a good part of a square block, although there's walking all the way around the lake. But the depth of it is it's not very deep, maybe a couple of feet. I don't think it's been cleaned out, not in the 20 years that I've been here. At this point in time, there's no drainage that actually goes into the lake. There's an overflow that runs under Easy Street into the ditch that goes to 512. And I think one of the things we could look at is making better use, if possible, out of that particular lake. So it was just a thought, and that was to be specific. And any rate, I think there's a lot going on in the infrastructure that we can work on, one item at a time. But being I guess a numbers guy, I'd rather talk numbers than words sometimes. As a matter of fact,
10 seconds.
I think these guys on the council could use a good CPA. Thanks.
Speak louder.
Okay, so the question is, other than the stormwater, what are some of the main issues here? I wrote down in preparation for this about 9 issues. I don't have time to go over them all, so I'm going to go over the main one, and other than stormwater. And that has to do with plain old water quality. You can only live 4 days without it. Can you hear me in the back there? Okay. You can only live 4 days without water, and once you put the poison in the water, you can't get it back out again. And we're not talking just herbicide and pesticide and things that are against our stormwater ordinance that we already have in place, enforcement, extra fertilizer. We've got biosolids being dumped out, that's also a problem. We've got an issue, and we're also addressing those issues already with the sewer to septic, septic to sewer. But then the Natural Resources Board is doing a great job right now. They're working on that issue. So I think that's kind of covered. We've got problems with the fact that the homeowners, however, we can work on it on the municipal level, we can work on it on the city level, but what we need to do is work with the homeowners. For example, I don't put any poisons in my yard. I don't even fertilize my lawn unless it's organic fertilizer for my vegetable patch or on an individual basis if something is deficient of fertilizer. So the only reason the fertilizer is running into the stormwater system and running into the Indian River Lagoon and creating algae blooms in a lot of areas that I have worked in, the problem is that we are over-fertilizing and over-poisoning, because if we're not, then it doesn't float away. It would stay right where it is. It's the over-fertilizing that we're doing. I also bought the lot next door to me to keep it as a natural area for the animals, because every lot on my street was developed, which it will be. I've got great neighbors. I love the community, but walk the walk at home. Do the right thing at home, because that's where it all starts. The city can only do so much, so the rest is up to us. Thank you.
All right, Jim, the water didn't bother you at all. You did a great job. Okay. I'm kind of a policy wonk in a lot of ways, and I can't. People talk about specific actions that we can take. I keep talking about the planning process. We're in the middle of updating our comp plan. We have to modify our land development code to match the comp plan so the city knows where it's going to go and how it's going to get there. We need to begin the process of finalizing our strategic plan. All of those things are going to lead towards what people want, because in those planning processes, the city's defining what they want to look like for the next 20 years. Once you define what you want to look like for the next 20 years, then you can begin a process of getting there. We certainly have a lot of problems with stormwater. We have a lot of problems with septic to sewer. The septic to sewer issue on the riverfront is being handled through a grant program that the city has, but right now the entire Sebastian Highlands is on septic tanks. 5 of the major 10 areas that impact the Indian River Lagoon from septic tanks is in the Sebastian Highlands. So people think that that's along the river, and it's not. It's in the Sebastian Highlands. From an engineering study, it was done by the county. So we have to begin the process of trying to make that transition. But all of that goes along with us finalizing the planning processes so that we know exactly where we want the city to go, and we can begin the process of moving it in that direction.
Okay, next question. How do you propose to address maintaining the canal's mechanical herbicides?
You want to run that by me again?
How do you propose to address maintaining the canal's mechanical herbicides / herbicides?
At this point in time, I realized that they had stopped, using pesticides, Monsanto or whatever on it. I have seen a picture of a machine that you can use in the canal to clean it. It's almost like on the farm an old hay baler, if you know what that is. It's running it through the canal, to clean it and get rid of the debris that's in it, the weeds, the grass, and so forth. I think one of the problems also is still the drainage, the ditches that leading into the canal, and until we start on that end of it, I don't think we'll ever get it solved. Thanks.
Okay, Ed Dodd.
Okay, the city is in the process right now of spending $1 million on a stormwater master plan. The city's not going to spend that. We're using an $800,000 grant, a $200,000 match from the city, or from the city and matching funds. I actually heard this, and I'll give the credit to Paul Carlisle, our city manager. He talked about the problem is that Florida's in natural basins. The city of Sebastian might have 100 basins in it, and each of those basins has high and low points. And if you walk through Florida where it's not developed, no streets, no houses, no driveways, you'll walk through dry land, and then you walk into wetlands, and then you walk through dry land, you walk into wetlands. Those are those basins. That's where the water flows. What's happened in Sebastian at General Properties and for the last 35 years is they disregarded the fact that the water naturally would flow in certain directions. You can go down streets and they're constantly wet. Well, that street probably is built in the basin, in the bottom part of a basin, and all the water flows to there. And so there's not much you can do with that. What this stormwater master plan is going to do is identify those. We're going to identify those low points and high points and where the flows are. And then we're going to have to move into an extremely expensive project of correcting the swales, the ditches, the canals. Hopefully, from the Stormwater Master Plan, we'll be able to get additional grant money to do that. I'm not able to say whether you use manual harvesting or whether you use anything else. We're in the process of putting together the best management practices system through the pest management plan. It's been done for the parks. It's been done for the non-canal system. They're starting the process for the canal system. Everything that I've seen from IFAS at the University of Florida to the city of San Francisco has a combination: herbicides, manual, non-herbicides, the whole thing. And it depends on the condition and the individual pests that you're trying to get rid of, what you do. I don't know that we'll ever get away from spraying, period, as long as there are pests that we can only get rid of by spraying something on them, or if we finally decide we don't want to get rid of them, and I can't answer that. Let's let the experts put together the plan and determine that. The manual harvesting that we did on Hardy Lake actually created a bigger problem than it solved. And so that's not the way to do it. There are other manual harvesting techniques. We just have to test them and see how they work versus the one that we used on that particular lake. But it did create a major problem for us. So.
Diana Bolton.
Okay. Yep.
Hello? Can you hear me? Okay, the question, I hate to, don't use up my time to repeat the question, but I think some people have forgotten what the question is, okay? So.
Yeah, how do you propose to address maintaining the canals, mechanical/herbicides?
Okay, to maintain the canals, this is a big one for me. I have been working on this. There's a lot of people in this town that are really concerned about this issue, and we are making major strides. The Board of Natural Resources, I watched the 2-hour meeting last night, and they are really working hard on it. We've put a moratorium on the spraying, and it was a momentous city council meeting. If you look back on YouTube on November 20th, 2019, we had a moratorium on all spraying. At that point, what's supposed to happen is we're supposed to then start using alternative stuff. Bottom line is we need to do more manual. Spraying is not going to clear up the debris. If you spray debris, you're still going to have debris, and it's still going to cause blockages, and it's still going to look unsightly. So we do have to have manual crews. I think we should try to insource it a little bit more so that we have more local jobs being filled here where we can have them do the maintenance on a regular basis. And I think that spraying is a last resort. Those are toxins that are legacy toxins, and that's self-descriptive. If something's a legacy toxin, it means that it's going to be in the system for a long time. We eliminated DDT in the 70s, and it's still showing up. So if we stop spraying now, which we've done, and congratulations to our city on that, we're on the right track. What is it? Necessity is the mother of invention. So if you don't spray, you've got to use other things. And there's no reason why we cannot use biological controls, which I've got experience working with. We are working on that, as Ed Dodd said. And we need to do manual cleaning. The weeds, the aquatic weeds, number one, are very healthy. Living shorelines are very healthy. They help filter out the water. They help clean the water. So that's what we want. Plants are not our enemy. Plants are our friends. Plants are the cheapest way to filter the water. We don't want to kill the plants if we can help it. And if we do have to get rid of them, we need to harvest them. Thanks.
So I'll just say that the moratorium that we put on spraying in our parks and in our canals was probably the single most destructive decision that the city council has made in the entire 16 years I've served on that council. You cannot stop doing something unless you have a plan to replace it. You cannot. Thank you. You can't just say, I don't like this, so let's stop, please, and then not have a way to fix it. Because we have canal issues. Who was here, I don't know, a couple weeks ago when we got some rain and the damn roads were all flooded? I was here. Who was here a month and a half ago when we got some rain and the damn roads were all flooded? I was here. That didn't happen last year. That happened this year because guess what? We just decided to stop doing something because we feel it's scary. So we're just going to stop maintaining it and then we'll figure out what to do. That's ridiculous. Now, I'm all for the environment. The city of Sebastian over the last 2 decades has been the leader in Indian River County and the East Coast in trying to clean up the Indian River Lagoon. We have done a tremendous amount working with St. John's River Water Management District with our stormwater park so that we can clean the waters that are in our canals before it goes into the lagoon. I'm on this water more than anyone on this stage, I can guarantee you. I love this water very much, and the St. Sebastian River. I spend days a week out there on this water. I love it. It's part of what makes Sebastian great. So I'm going to fight every day of my life to make sure we protect this water. But I'm not going to destroy our community and not have a plan to save it, to bring it back. And that's what we did. There are ways, yes, mechanical harvesting, great. We did that before we stopped the spraying, and we did spraying. So it's an all-in thing. We have to maintain it. We have to use best management practices to maintain our canals and our waterways. We've done that for years, but lies get in the way, folks. You were lied to a year ago about an annexation, and then all hell broke loose in the city of Sebastian. We can't let lies get in the way again and try to disrupt the truths that Sebastian is a great place because the city has been doing a great job maintaining it.
Thank you. Okay, that was awesome.
When I say 10 seconds, I mean it. Yes.
Round 3, this is going to be fun. So in here, the fine people of Sebastian has picked questions, and they're going to pick 2 randomly, and I will read them. And hopefully we'll get some great answers. All right, first one up, I'm going to give to
Ed. Pick 2, sir. Pick 2. Yes, sir.
And these are 1-minute answers, so it'll be short and sweet, quick. Okay, first question.
Is that to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Got a mic? You're going to do 20 seconds quick.
You drive a hard bargain, but yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Sir, what actions should the city council take to balance the budget in light of the current deficit?
Okay, the city council can't do a ton to balance the budget unless we close down the city. We have to be very careful about the way we spend some of our of the funds we've dedicated for projects in our long-term project schedule. So until we find out what the impact of the discretionary sales tax and the gas tax issue is. I think that if we find that our Ken, our CFO, estimated correctly that we'll be okay next year. If the city, if the county, the state cuts back on our funds, we're going to have to cut some of those projects out. The operational fund for the city, as you all know, and it was, I had to eat a whole package of Rolaids before I voted on that tax increase. But we're forced to do that. There was no real option for us to do that. It was either lay
10
people
seconds.
off or do that. So.
Okay, Ann. All right. One more question? One more question? Next question. This is a good one. I'm hearing that our taxes in Sebastian will be going up because of the monetary deficit due to the coronavirus lockdowns. Can you explain what you propose to do to be fiscally responsible, if anything?
Well, there's not a whole lot we can do if we just don't do things. Sebastian has, we have met or exceeded rollback 4 years in a row in this city. Our staffing levels are still low compared to the cities around us. We actually have not staffed up since the last downturn, and when we cut staff and put people into mandatory time off in order to meet the budget. We're short staffed in our stormwater division. We're short staffed in our parks division. We're short staffed in our road division, and we just don't have the funds to hire the people to do that. So I just don't see that there's any option for us to manage ourselves out of this physical problem. And I believe we're okay with the tax increase that we put in place, and I think we'll be able to get the work done.
Next up is Diana Bolton.
I'm not going to answer the same question. No, you get your own two fun, make it interesting. There's one and two. Okay.
Diana picked these two questions. First one is, what would you do to strengthen our relationship with the county?
Oh, sorry. No.
What would I do? Hello. What would I do to strengthen our relationship with the county? I'm kind of new to this game. I don't know about some of the old history, but I hear there's a lot of bad blood between Sebastian and the county. The county is a little bit more together than Sebastian is, and in the county, Sebastian is a bit of a joke. That's what I know. I don't know why. I don't know who the players are, but I can say that what we need to do is coordinate more. We need to attend some meetings with the county. We need to invite the county to attend our meetings. I've been to one of our city council meetings where the county was actually invited, and they had some really good input. They came and spoke on the subject that we needed them to speak on. I don't know if we took them up on any of their suggestions, but they were very intelligent, and they had it together. So I think that we should
10 seconds.
We should share resources with the county. We should share information with the county, and we should be on a friendly basis with the county. I think that's what we're all part of the county, actually. So why aren't we? We need to be good neighbors and better neighbors. Thank you.
Okay. And second question. Should the city allocate resources to police boat ramps on the weekends and holidays?
Absolutely. I am down here. I see the police already there at the boat ramps. I talked to them and they're hanging out. Whether we need more or not, I don't think so. I don't know of any altercations or any problems that we have. Our police overall are doing a pretty good job. The last thing I'd want to do is defund them. I want to give them all the support possible. Everyone I've met on the police force is doing a great job, and I've talked to the water cops down there. So yes, should we police the ramps? If we need to and as needed. I think it's already being done.
All right, great. Okay, next up is Jim Hill. And first question. What do you think the city should do with the Harbor Lights property?
That's a real good question. I'm very proud of the fact that the city actually got that property. The reason we got the property was to make sure that we secured the property on the east side of Indian River Drive. I'm not sure what we should do with it. We're going to be workshopping that. We're going to get input from the public. I can tell you, Sebastian's not a joke. It never has been a joke. Because we do what's right in Indian River County, and we're leaders in this community. We are the leaders on the environment. And part of the leadership on the environment is the purchase of that property. Because now we will forever, and the citizens of Sebastian will forever own the east side of that, protecting our view and protecting the water directly adjacent to us. So I'm very proud of it, and we're going to workshop what we should do with that property. And we should listen to the citizens of Sebastian and decide after we hear their input.
Okay, second question. Should the city pursue economic diversification to enhance financial stability, and why?
Yeah, economic diversification or economic development, I mean, absolutely, we should pursue economic development in any way we possibly can. And we've been doing that for a long time, working closely with the Chamber of Commerce, trying to work with the small businesses in our community along our riverfront. We have beautiful the village shops over here across from US 1 that are great. You know, there are a lot of people that don't even know they exist, but they're wonderful. So we've been working with the Chamber of Commerce to work with the Riverfront District, as well as the 512 corridor that we have, and our US 1 corridor going south. But one of the most critical components of our economic development is our airport. Our airport property offers us hundreds and hundreds of acres of industrial property, and we've already started developing that, and most of the development has happened with grant funding. So almost all of the funding for that property has been developed from outside sources of funding. So that's great, and we're going to be developing the west side, and again, the value. We've worked with the state and the county to get water put out and utilities put out to that side. So we've got the economic engine running in Sebastian, so I'm very proud of what we've done over the last several decades.
Thank you. Okay, Bill Simmons, let's pick. All right. Mr. Simmons, first question. Is there a link between cancer and spraying that is going on? If yes, what would you do if elected to eliminate that risk to the people of Sebastian?
That's a good question. I'm not for sure if I know the answer. Anyhow, if there is a link between the spraying and the cancer, then I think we have to find something else to do in lieu of spraying. That's about all I can tell you.
Okay. Second question. You get the long ones. Do you favor the city applying for grants to fund sewers and making, where possible, sewers mandatory for owners with the help of procured grants and low-interest loans?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah? Okay. You couldn't answer that any better. Are you in politics? Okay.
All right, that was excellent. Now, what do we have here? This is from one each, and these are from the folks right here at the Tiki Bar, correct?
Excellent. Excellent. Round 4 is 1 minute each. Diana's first. One question? One question? Yep. My dear?
Okay. Oh, geez. Handwritten. How knowledgeable are you with the city charter rules and Robert's rules, as it's important to be able not to have to look up things all the time?
Testing. I am always looking up things all the time. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not looking up things, and the more I know, the more I don't know. You got to start somewhere. I'm an educator, and I know that there's no such thing as a dumb question unless you ask it 3 times and you're not paying attention. But I sit on 2 boards of directors. How familiar am I? I couldn't be mayor tomorrow, and I wouldn't want to be. It would take somebody with a little more experience than that.
Excellent.
Okay.
Jim?
You can if you want. I don't even want to try. I don't have my glasses.
Oh, this is a little better. All right. Ask is, how can a fishing village vibe be attained if all the fish and clams are gone because of the toxic runoff?
Wow, that'd be tough. And I'll say I could be the mayor tomorrow, but I don't want to be because we have a hell of a mayor in Ed Dodd, right? So the fish are not gone. That's another one of those lies. Are there toxins or are there problems with the Indian River Lagoon? I'm sure there are. There always have been. I mean, if you go back 100 years, there wasn't an inlet there. So, I mean, we've changed so many things with our ecosystem. We've drained the entire state of Florida through our 54 canals and all these other things. So there's a lot of things that we're fighting to get our waterways better. But to say the fish are all gone, I go out there all the time and I don't catch them as much as I want to. I mean, Amy catches a heck of a lot more fish than I do, and Riley catches them too. But the fish are there. It's not true. If you're not on the water, you don't know, because all you hear is that that's a dead river. You can't get from here to the inlet without seeing dolphin everywhere, and it's wonderful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Before you listen to the people that are saying our river's dead, go on the water and see for yourself.
Okay, sir, do I got catfish? Yeah. Sweet, I like it. Okay.
Okay. Why are so many pesticides and herbicides being applied by the city, and what can be done to minimize or eliminate these toxic afflictions?
That's a good question, too. So, I started to say go back to the old way of spraying it to kill, but that's probably not the right answer, obviously. As far as I know they make pesticides, herbicides, and so forth that aren't harmful to the population, whether it's the animals, the fish, the humans, or whatever. And I can only suggest that we continue to use that type of method. Thanks.
All right. And this question is, how would you balance the historical heritage of Sebastian with the need for change? Please give practical examples.
This is the historical heritage of Sebastian right here. And I'm reminded of an email that I received from one of the developers who's doing work in Sebastian, and the patriarch of the old farm family that sold him a piece of land wrote him an email. And he's probably as old as I am, mid-70s or early 70s. He indicated that when he was growing up that they hunted pheasants in the Sebastian Highlands, that they pulled manatees out of the river to eat, that he hunted hogs all over what's now the Sebastian Highlands, that all the streets were dirt at that point in time. And the last sentence in his email was, Sebastian is a better place today than it was then. So it's the people
10 seconds.
that make Sebastian what it is, not the size of the city and not whether we grow.
Okay, thank you. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, give a big round for our candidates doing a great job. We are at our closing statements. Oh, yeah, hold on, we're not done.
Oh, I thought this was empty. My apologies. Sorry. Yeah, she went first. All right, cool. All right. She can answer that. She can answer.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. All right, anyway, I've been DJ Big B. Closing statements, you guys get 2 minutes. We're going to start off with Jim Hill.
Thank you guys again for coming up here tonight. It's wonderful to see you all out here. I love the city of Sebastian. I hope you can get that from what I'm talking about up here, because everything I've done since moving here has been to help make Sebastian better. And I don't think people move here because they think it's amazing and great. But if you moved back here in 1999, it was a completely different place than what it is today. I loved Sebastian in 1999, and that's the reason I moved here. There were just over 6,000 people living in this community in 1999. Now there are probably going to be over 30,000 when the new census comes through. But you all moved here because it's amazing, right? It's amazing, and the growth and development that we've had in Sebastian has been done in a way that has helped make it a better community. If you look just in the past decade, you'll see so many improvements in this community. We've maintained the history, heritage, and quality of life that we've always loved, but we've made it a better community. And if the citizens of Sebastian can control the growth and development that takes place over the next couple of decades, then Sebastian will continue to be an amazing place. I love the city of Sebastian, and if you moved here because it's a great place, then you probably moved here because of the leadership that I've provided on the city council. So I want to continue to provide that type of leadership. And I thank you all very much for coming up here today. I thank the Tiki again. I thank my wife again. I thank Sebastian Daly again. You guys are awesome. Go to votejimhill.com. You can get any of the answers that you need on there, that you have, or questions answered, whatever. And then you can contact me also. But votejimhill.com. I love Sebastian, and I look forward to serving another 2 years for you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim Hill, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, next up, Bill Simmons.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to use these last couple of minutes to sort of toot the horn of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Of course, 'cause I happen to be on it. But they have basically, we have, and I want to get to the staff in a minute, the final draft of the City of Sebastian Comprehensive Plan is going to be presented to the Planning and Zoning next Thursday at 6 o'clock. After that, it goes to the council. We've had 6 meetings this year in spite of the virus, working on it. It's been a significant chore, but it's been made a lot easier because of staff, and I'd like to recognize them with Lisa and Dory and Robert and Kimberly and Michelle and the consulting firm. I think they've done a great job. I would like to invite everyone to view by Zoom next Thursday night or come in person. I would like to see more involvement of the community. I mean, most things of importance come through the planning and zoning, and we go through it, put it together, tie a bow on it, and send it to these guys. They get all the credit, but I'm telling you. Ed knows. So I just want to give the staff, planning and zoning, and the guys on it, and the ladies on that, a little pat on the back. And thank you guys for showing up tonight, and win, lose, or draw. I love Sebastian. I've been here 20 years, and I ain't leaving.
Bill Simmons, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, Ed Dodd.
Okay. Can you hear me now? All right. I'm asking for your vote. I'm running for council because there's been a reassurance, a reemergence of the Democratic movement, not Democratic Party, but democracy as a say in this city. We have a large number of people who stood up and corrected a problem, and it will allow this city to move forward. And I, quite frankly, can't run away from what I feel is my responsibility to try to serve that group of people as best I can to try to help this city move forward. So that's why I'm running. Andy, I want to thank you for this. Thank you, Tina, and I will thank my wife, Denise, also for putting up with me as I came home from all those meetings in February and March and April. And I didn't beat her up or anything like that, but she had to put up with my moods. when it came for that. I also love Sebastian. I want to serve the city. I want to help the city grow. I want to help the city staff. We have a wonderful staff in this city, and we have 3 great charter officers. We have a great staff that works below them, and they get an awful lot of stuff done with a minimum number of people. And my goal is to help that group, to protect them, and to work with the citizens on trying to move the city forward. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ed Dodd. And Diana Bolton.
Hey. Hi, I'm asking for your vote because I think we need some fresh approach. And regardless of whether you vote for me or not, some of you have already made up your minds. I plan to keep working for this city and making it more beautiful than it already is. As far as it being a dead river, it's anything but. This river is so alive, and it's a green space. It is a blue dot in a red zone where other areas are getting really polluted. We are very, very lucky here because of the flushing of the Indian River, of the inlet, and we've got bad water to the south of us and bad water to the north of us, but here the water is good. We have a lot to be thankful for. This is a beautiful gem of a town, and we want to preserve that. There is going to be growth no matter what, and there are great people moving in here. We've got wonderful people that live here now, so we want to keep it that way. We want to go the same direction. For the reason we moved here for peace and tranquility, civility, friendly neighbors, friendly with one another, collaboration with our neighboring cities, collaboration with our county, and civil discourse. We want to bring that back. I think everybody agrees with that. We want to get along. We want to be good neighbors. We want to do what's right, and we want to be healthy. We want to live a long life, and we want to live a happy life. So vote for me, please, and I appreciate being here. I appreciate Andy Hodges and Tina putting on this show tonight, and I really appreciate all of you guys, and I appreciate what's going on at City Hall. There are a lot of great people there. Kimberly, environmental specialist, she's awesome. Charles Stadelman, who's running the Natural Resources Board, and all the people that are there working on natural resources, they're doing a good job with Sustainable Sebastian, and we all need to support them. They need volunteers. Show up. They have some things coming up they're going to need some help on. And it's all about us. It's all about this town. It's all about this community. It's not us and them. It's us. We're all in this together. And we have a beautiful, beautiful town here. We want to keep it that way. Thank you very much.
Diana Bolton. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, big, big applause. Once again, Jim Hill, Bill Simmons, Ed Dodd, and Diana Bolton. Thank you.